Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. Do you ever think of something scary? Something so creepy and spine-tingling that you can't sleep at night? But oh, don't worry. Something like that could never happen to you. Or could it? Here's 7 seriously creepy encounters that happen to people exactly like you. When I was 8, we moved into this house that seemed like it had been constructed in the early to mid-1900s. It was pretty run down. We would hear footsteps all the time. My mom claimed to have seen some animal with red eyes in the cellar that was unconnected but under the house. There was this little cubby with a love seat and some drawers and cabinets that we found. We looked in and they were just stuffed with obituaries going back decades. My sister woke up one night saying that she saw a little girl in the overhang outside of our room. We shared a bunk bed upstairs, and every night we would shut this little closet, and every morning it would be open. We tried moving our toy chest in front of it, and that night we were woken up at 3 or 4 a.m. by a loud crash, and our toy chest tipped over with the closet door open. We also heard footsteps on the stairs late into the evening. I've lived in 7 houses in my life, and I've never seen a ghost, but that place felt haunted, and it is the singular experience that keeps me from dismissing the paranormal. My little brother had a psychotic episode after taking acid and staying up for multiple days. He ended up being admitted to a mental institution for a week or so, and it was really traumatic for my mom, but I believed he would make it out of the other side okay. We went to pick him up, took him home. My mom went to bed, but he was still acting very off. Knowing him better than anyone else, I stayed up late with him to hear him out, trying my best to understand. He said something was following him, like a dark spirit of some kind. He was explaining it to me in the living room when my dog, who is usually mild-mannered and always passed out, suddenly starts growling in my brother's direction. My brother turned to me and so calmly said, "They're here." I suddenly felt the coldest sensation shooting up into my spine and literally ran out of the room. I passed the kitchen and screamed because every single cabinet was all open at the same angle. Probably 12 cabinet doors total, top and bottom, all opened, the same angle. I was 23 at the time and ran into my mom's room, got in bed with her, and cried myself to sleep, more afraid than I've ever been in my life. There's absolutely no way my brother or mom could have done this without me noticing. I still get chills just thinking about it. My sister and I shared a bed in my room when she came home for vacation. My bed is up against the wall, and I took the space on the bed next to the wall. In the middle of the night, I wake up and see this figure of a girl. Her face is covered by her hair, and she's standing in front of my sister. Her arms were out, almost as if wanting to touch my sister. I sat up and I stared at her for a second. Thought to myself, well, it must be my niece. But then I realized that my niece is blonde. I blinked and she was gone. It was then I noticed that my door was slightly ajar, which is weird because I have this particular thing about keeping my door always closed. This happened maybe 2 years ago. It was the night of the 4th of July. My fiancé and I had gone out with some friends to a small country town for their fireworks show. On the way back home, we were driving down country roads. It was dark and a little creepy, being surrounded by cornfields on each side. I should note that this general area is about a few blocks away from a well-known haunted cemetery. Anyway, as we were driving down the road, I noticed out of the corner of my eye this figure on the side of the road. I only saw it for a split second, but seeing it sent chills through me. It had to have been at least 7 feet tall, lanky with these long, slender arms and long legs, and the face was similar to the nurses from Silent Hill. It was just totally warped, but no distinguishable features, just a warped, blank face. I sat there for a few moments in the car silently. I finally said something to my fiancé, kind of shrugging it off. That was weird. I thought I saw something back there. He turned to me and said, "The thing without a face? I saw it too. That tops the scariest feeling I've ever had. I get chills just thinking about it." I was at home, Facetiming my cousin once. She passed the phone to my grandma. That's when my grandma turned and asked, "Well, who's that girl sitting beside you? Is it your sister? Tell them I said hello." I was home alone at the time, and this scared me so much that I ran and left the house. She still thinks that I had a friend over or a sister and was just refusing to say hello for her. Sleeping near the dining room in my house with a friend a couple years ago. We have a small room at the back of our house with a few couches. First off, I should explain the layout of the rooms involved. The hallway leads into the lounge, which leads into the dining room. This leads into another room, and that goes outside. We were talking together until around 4 a.m. when he asked me who the person standing in the doorway to the dining room was. We both see a figure standing there and remain quiet until he leaves, but both feel extremely uneasy and decide to go to my room to sleep instead. When going through the lounge, I realized that the lounge door had not been opened or shut, as we would have heard it, and there was nobody in the room. I've experienced some paranormal stuff in my house before, and was generally quite okay with it, as it never came across as threatening. Our family accepted that we just share the house with them. But the idea of someone or something just watching me in my sleep, it scares me to death. My friends and I have things teleport between us all the time. Once my friend's pocket knife went missing. He tells me that this morning his boss said she found it and put it in a drawer for him. When she went to go get it, it wasn't there anymore. She assumed a coworker must have stole it. Meanwhile, I found the pocket knife in a book bag that I keep in my car right after he tells me that. This sort of thing seems to happen all the time. We've just accepted that our possessions are teleporting, and if we don't look too hard, they'll end up back with us somehow. If you want more scary top 7 lists like this, you can support me on Patreon, patreon.com/ImoriStar. If you pledge just $5 a month, you'll get an extra Patreon-exclusive video from me per week. Yes, that's one more top 7 spooky story list video from me per week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or evening. I'm Imori. Now, listen to the spooky tunes.